Recording. And hi everyone, thank you for joining this call. So today we are going to talk about all the points that we need to discuss. And right now I'm going to share the screen with the agenda. You can find also agenda in the chat, the link to the agenda. So please add your names there. Okay, just a moment. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I will make it a bit bigger for everyone to see. Today we have some points, and I saw, Amelia, you were adding some edits here. The first thing we need to discuss today is the swag updates, and this I will give you, Amelia, to have a word because you wanted to start with that.
Okay. So thanks, Tatiana, for sending the minutes this morning. It was really helpful. Really helpful.
Better late than never, I would say.
Exactly. So a few tickets were submitted 2 weeks ago, and we will need to redo many of the designs. Like we have only one t-shirt design, and Ryan has worked on it, and he has some questions for us. He will show us, or he will ask us questions. And also we have some numbers for you about how much swag to buy and all these things, because we allocated for 2021, $25,000 on swag. And this will be distributed to the JUGs that have been patient with us through the 2 years of no innovation. So we have the numbers today to show you. And Ryan, do you want to start? I will go into quiet mode.
Sure. I mean, the main thing is that I'm a little bit confused about is that there's one ticket for implementation shirt, then there's a ticket for a hoodie to match shirt, and then there's a ticket, where is it here? Member shirt design to match charter and working group. So how many shirts are we making?
David is going to go into details on that.
You're talking about like how many styles of shirts, you mean?
Yeah, so I mean, I think every shirt's going to have the logo, but then I guess different logos on the back.
Do we want that many different shirts? Because it could get kind of confusing. Do we just want to go with the same old with one shirt?
This is the conversation that we have not had yet. This is why we're talking about.
I did prepare some sort of kind of rough ideas on. Excuse me. Amelia had the ideas, and I put them in a spreadsheet. So just so I could understand what she was talking about. I did prepare like a little Google Drive sheet. If you don't, if you're okay, I can share that on the screen.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I got to make sure that window is.
Yeah, and we have not discussed the t-shirts yet. So this is the call that we start a discussion.
So the idea that Amelia had was to ship the shirts to JUGs, who would give them out to people throughout the year for doing good things for the JUG and stuff like that. So the shirts wouldn't be immediately distributed at like the moment they get there. They would be trickled out throughout the year. And then people would be encouraged to tweet that they got a shirt. And so we did do this with a couple JUGs in the last few years, and it worked out pretty good. I don't know what JUGs we sent shirts to. Beautiful. Who were they? It was like Guatemala and.
Yeah, we have given t-shirts to Europe JUGs, to African, to Latin American, and North America. We have covered 4 continents on this.
Right. And we typically see people tweet out, look, I got a shirt, and they'll tag MicroProfile in it and stuff like that. So anyway, the cost. So the idea is that we would hit 20 JUGs. And so we would have boxes of 50 shirts for 20 JUGs. And so the cost per shirt is $12 that's the cost for 250 shirts. you get a discount when you start going higher than 250. So but this doesn't include tax. So just consider it to be $12 for, so at 1,000 shirts, it'd be 12K. Shipping estimation is about $100 to hit. Sometimes you can hit these countries for cheaper. Sometimes it's more expensive. So it should average out to be about $100 per country with about 50 shirts with the weight. And then that brings us to like, would be basically for 20 bundles, it would be about 2K. The shirt vendor would be doing the shipping. So give them a 1K for 20 different countries.
We haven't negotiated the shipment.
This is all estimations.
Yeah.
So this is all estimate. We've been working with them for several years. So these are all estimations. So,
one question.
Sure.
Is custom included, and how are these shirts produced? Are they all produced in the US and shipped from there? So customs to Europe will be on top. And is that?
Yeah, for many places there are not, but Germany there definitely is.
Yes.
Germany and Brazil will charge a fee. The fee will be the cost of the JUG, and the JUGs are prepared to pay for this because they understand that we have done this before. So what I would like for us to consider is inviting many of these JUGs to one of these calls, and for everyone to meet them, to have it recorded, to push it so that everyone understands what we have been doing with them for so many years that now can be covered by the budget. This year, we chose $25,000 for this to formally thank them, right? Usually Tommy Tribe sends 20 t-shirts, different JUGs, and that kind of thing. And we know what country will charge fees and how much, but that is always paid by the JUGs, and they assume the responsibility. Some of them, even when they were not legal entities, have had their people pay out of their own pockets, and that is great. I don't think we have the bandwidth to send PayPal and these kind of things. I don't believe that the EMO will approve anything like sending Venmo or PayPal or something to, for the $50 or tax, right? If we were to send, we need to send to Ecuador JUG as well. And anything after £8 is charged, right? So every country has a different thing. The JUGs deal with it. So Jan, really good question. We don't deal with the logistics. It's not like a visa, right? That we're sponsoring. We're sponsoring the materials, and everyone is enabled to do the thing. And we can see in 3 months, how the distribution is going, track it with their help, and bring total transparency of the distribution. The idea is to have this in their website, because we have a plan we have had the plan for 2 years about swag redistribution in the world for MicroProfile. And this will be brought into the website to show everyone who is getting the t-shirts, what JUGs are participants, and they got this year, how many, and they have distributed how many, total transparency. It's going to be so cool, but this is something that we have worked on for 2 years and never implemented because we didn't have the budget.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wasn't finished, by the way. So can I get through it before we break it apart? So, because otherwise it'll be like another half an hour and I still won't have been finished. So, so basically I'm rough estimating the cost of shipping like 3K, more or less. And then, so that brings the total cost of the program to like 15K, again, an estimate. It would be in that ballpark, I'm guessing. So I estimate if we get 1 out of 5 people who actually get a t-shirt, if they actually tweet, right? Because a lot of times people don't have even Twitter accounts, or they just don't get around to it or whatever. So if we get 1 out of 5 people who actually tweet, we're going to get 200 tweets throughout the year about MicroProfile from the community. If we expect some people to actually write blogs, which we did have at least like 2 or 3 blogs.
This year we had more, close to 10 from the t-shirts that we
10 blogs. Okay.
Yeah. We have videos as well. So
anyway, I'm being super pessimistic. 1 out of 20 people will do a blog. So that's still 50 blogs. So basically for 15K estimation cost, we could hopefully get about 200 tweets and about 50 blogs. I think this is probably high estimations, but I would be happy personally with half that would be stellar, in my opinion.
Well, I suspect if we say, please tweet out a picture of you wearing the shirt, that's a very low bar.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the bar.
we do that.
That's the bar. It's just like mention us, say thank you. You know what I mean?
And they add the conversation we have with these individuals. Sometimes the team we send to individuals, not only JUGs. We said, please don't add Tommy Tribe to this. Add MicroProfile, because MicroProfile, it's a community. It's not just a single company. It's many different entities and individuals. And what we notice now that we catch up in Q3 with the t-shirts is that everyone that got the t-shirts, a few were returned, like the Tiana's t-shirt and a few other ones in Africa that we need to resend them, is that everyone retweeted and followed a protocol on @MicroProfile so that there would not be a single individual. And some of them are like, no, we want to make sure like that you guys are presenting, I will add you. I'm like, no, please. And we cannot control it, but this will be different because it will be shipped directly, not from Tommy Tribe addresses, but from the vendor, totally neutral. Right, shipped to the world, like in that form.
So anyway, we would need to organize ourselves to reach out to 20 different JUGs. We've been engaging in JUGs like this directly, but we would probably want to do it through, some kind of meeting like this, where we could just maybe start inviting them to get together and answer questions, and just, maybe we don't get 20 JUGs that show up. Maybe we get 30 JUGs that show up, and in which case we would need to select, and then next year we could hit the ones we didn't hit, and we could keep this going. I mean, there are hundreds of JUGs out there.
300, a little bit over 300 active.
Right. So anyway, the great thing about it is that if we ship to the JUGs and then the JUGs ship amongst their own community, it gets the shirts nicely dispersed, even though there aren't necessarily conferences going on.
Yeah,
is it going to be 20? Sorry.
What you have to remember
is that the JUGs aren't getting together either sometimes.
Yeah, we don't have on-present or on-site JUG meetings at the moment. Some JUGs compensate that they're sending packages, but then you need some assistant to send everybody joining a MicroProfile talk, pack a package and send it. But that is a solution, especially for JUGs. And these t-shirts are wanted when you have a MicroProfile talk, and can say afterwards, if you have questions or want a t-shirt, just send an email to this address, and then you will get a t-shirt sent back to you. But we, for example, in Darmstadt decided we will think about in the Q2 of next year having the first on-site talk. And these are the events where you can distribute t-shirts easily.
Right.
So Jiang, that is why when in the summer, when we finally closed the budget, when I chatted with many of the JUGs, all of them were not opening. So this is why we have not worked on the swag and the designs, because not many are meeting. The most active at the moment are starting to be Atlanta JUG and New Jersey JUG, but all the rest are still at home. So this is in advance for hoping the things improve in 2022, because it costs money to send these things from Medellin to different cities. The JUGs are cover the entire country, and they will need money to ship this. because not many will meet like they usually do for every country has a conference internally for all the people to come together once a year, and they are not having. I think the first one that is going to happen is Peru. Cesar is here and he usually participates in Peru, but it's online. So I wouldn't be opposed to MicroProfile supporting, sponsoring $250 of the JUG for shipment because it's cheap, locally it's cheap. But this is something that we need to negotiate with the EMO.
Yeah, what's our note-taking strategy here? I was just going to try to capture some of Jan's questions and points. But we could also ask JUGs if they're meeting, right? And so we could favor JUGs that are meeting and give them the shirts first.
Yeah, there are, I think, 3 states, on-site meetings, remote meetings, or no meetings at the moment. And we have all that spectrum, for example, in JUG. In Darmstadt, we have a monthly meeting as before, but it's a virtual one. And then it's hard to handle the giveaways. It's additional work for us and costs, of course.
Right.
Do we have some kind of list of all possible JUGs that we would like to get in touch with?
So yeah, I created a document and I shared it via the community and the marketing, and that was a few weeks ago. And I don't have it here, but I will add it immediately after this call. And what I would like for us is, it says the JUGs are divided currently on their continents. And I was very careful not to add all the JUGs that I know that wish to be a part of this because they are active until we have this discussion, right? What I would like is to share once again the documents, and I will add it here and also send it to the marketing forum for everyone to work, especially Jiang. Jiang is a member of the JUG. He represents over 43 JUGs. So the idea that we can add within the spreadsheet different columns that say attending, not attending is fantastic. When I created the document a few months ago, I only had information these JUGs were telling us. And I know this work because of the work we do with the JCP and Java and education. We are working on that with many JUGs. And it's just, we know a little bit more of what is not seen or documented publicly. So I said a few weeks ago in the community call that I wanted to share with the community the work there because we can replicate it and improve it here because we have a budget. It is a part of this kind of philosophy of talking with them so they can tell us their constraints, and then we work with them to see how we can be of value so that not only are they adopting the technology and pushing the technology and creating content and all these other things, but also that they know that we are hearing them. I don't believe that it's okay for us to create a program without their feedback, and they are willing to do this, and they have their own voices. So they can come to these calls and they can just get tickets if they don't make it, both of them, and write up stuff because no one is a secretary. So I'm super excited to get here.
So the question, like to make the things shorter, because we are already like half an hour almost talking about this. The next step, should we contact all those JUGs with the question are you having some on-site or off-site any events during the next year, and ask them to fill in the gaps in this document, like the mark, yes, we are planning some online or offline or something like that. And based on that, we will be getting in touch with those who are planning at least something, or at least answer it to that document, because this will already put half of those JUGs away because they either not planning anything for the next year, or they are not active enough to see that message. So if we need to get this information, what will be the media, how we get in touch with them? This will be tweet, this will be like email message, or this will be some kind of like meetup contact or whatever. What would be the media?
So we know, let me go in here. We know who is active and who has been active and participant on MicroProfile. So we would like to hit those ones first. Let me finish here.
Hold on, I just want to be pragmatic about this. We don't need to solve that right now, because basically we have a budget that we got to spend before the end of the year, and if we don't, we basically kind of forfeit it. It's going to get spent on other things that
So
we
basically
don't
now
want.
we need to order all those t-shirts, and then
Right.
already we will decide. So this is not the issue. This is not a blocking point, I would say, to have this
Right.
list. So
Exactly.
so as far as I understand, now we need to decide whether we want to have a bunch of different t-shirts or one kind of t-shirts. From my point of view, it's better to have one or two maximum types of t-shirts, because this will be easier to distribute, not to have this mess of like one gets one type, the other gets the other one.
Yeah.
And also considering the like more customized versions, again, considering that we are going to get in touch with JUGs, with that someone will have event at the beginning of the year and someone will have events at the end of the year. So the design should be more or less consistent in terms of not having some very customized logos of some specific companies or something like that, because at the end of the year, the situation can be totally different in terms of partnering or in terms of compatibility or whatsoever.
We have enough time to design a hoodie or something like that.
Yes, yes, the same t-shirt, whatever we print, should be a hoodie.
I
That's what
didn't
Ryan-
include hoodies here.
Yeah.
That, what'd you say that our costs? 36?
20, no, they cost $27. We have the prices from every year we get the prices. So the hoodie for MicroProfile is $27. And this cost doesn't include the 2XL, 3XL. Those ones I think we should only print when requested. And we should create an e-form and it will be linked to the website.
Well,
that
the problem with printing when requested is because we will need some time, some weeks to reach out to all these jugs. So we don't have that for the budget. We don't have that time this year, but we do have the budget. So we have, if we think we're going to need some XL shirts, we should add another, we should add a double XL shirts. We should add that, just, you know, add $1,000 to cover them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think, yeah, that's correct.
The other things to make it even better, I think we also need to have a lady small. So it's basically it's having
Extra small. These include
Yeah.
Emily.
lady,
Yeah, Emily, they are using
female
that.
version.
Yeah,
Woman.
X small, extra small. The t-shirts that we have are the same ones, right? Like they are for male and female, and we need extra small. Usually we order only a few extra smalls. I think you might have only one.
Yeah, it's yeah, we should have more.
I order one especially for you, but usually we don't order them. It's like
I see.
customized, right?
Yeah, we should have more.
Yeah, exactly. So my question for everyone here is about operations, because we can execute this super fast. I think we should, how do you think about, we create an email that is swag MicroProfile and then Google Group. Anyone that wants
Wait, an email?
email.
We don't
because-
want to, we'll just use the marketing one. We don't need another email
Okay.
just for this.
Okay. The thing is that
Too many
sometimes,
mailing lists.
listen to this. Sometimes some JUGs do not like to be put or ask questions in public. And this I know because they have told me, can you please, when talking about this, we definitely want to do that, but we have constraints and we would prefer to keep it private, right? I'm so open and I want everything to be talked in the open source, but
I get it.
we can't force a few of the JUGs that are a little bit much more shy. Some of them actually say, we have not done anything yet on MicroProfile. We want this, we wanna earn it. And these are the kind of things they will not tell us publicly, right? So I recommend we do both. I know the ones that will want to be highlighted publicly because they are members of the main JUG. We have a mailing list for the JUGs, global world. You know, I think Cesar is one of the leads for that. You know, world JUGs and the mailing list. So it's easy to know who, but I don't believe that public conversations will work for all of them. We don't want.
So what will be in that email that you're offering?
We will draft something that, listen to this. This is the idea that I have, and it can be destroyed. We create an e-form, and in the e-form, we ask them all the questions. And the email will have two sentences. First, you have been amazing, because first we're going to contact the ones that have been doing the work. Then we need to contact the ones that wish to do the work, right? Like we have many in Africa that are wishing to do the work, the same with India, but they have not done so yet, right? And then in this e-form goes directly to the private email that we will create, and we know who is doing what, like seeing in person, not seeing in person, and we customize this, you know, in the next week or so. We customize it to make sure that it's scalable beyond a person, that the email is super short and sweet. They say call to action. We want to thank you for being amazing. For example, this is one template. I'm talking about templates, something that can be replicated. And then for the ones that we wish to increase, like Ed has been really prioritizing, we want to also bring in the ones that do not know anything about MicroProfile, right?
Just to keep, we're running out of time. We're going to need to buy the shirts out of the budget this year. So we need to get how much of everything we want nailed down.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like we even need to decide if we want to do this, right?
Yes.
In some way that.
Yeah.
So for now, we need to decide on the shirts and hoodies, whether we are taking one or the other or both, and in what amount. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
The other thing is we have some budget. Have we decided how much we are going to spend on swags?
25,000. Emily, 25,000 was allocated to swag and events.
Right. Okay.
So
we have a surplus. We have a total available budget of, was it 36 or 30?
36,000 in. Yeah, and
36.
Then we have,
so basically, we got 36K to spend by the end of the year.
Yes. So it's a 24 on the swag, and then we can finalize this. And then
Well, so far we haven't reached 24, but
we can do it recently.
But if we wanted, if we could potentially set aside 5K for jugs that are not meeting, so that we could cover their shipping costs to their people.
Yes.
Because it would be cheaper for them to ship to the individuals rather than us from the US or Canada or wherever, right?
We have been asked for that.
Can we make like the order, like can we decide based on the budget that we are having already right now, and we know what budget we have? Can we already order shirts and hoodies, no matter what jugs are going to answer us or whatever, and have them in stock, and then already start all these mailing campaign to those jugs, figuring out the list and so on and so forth?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what we would have
It
to
seems
do.
to me this is like two milestones. First milestone, let's buy them, all those
Right.
hoodies and shirts. Do we have any I don't know, anything that can influence the number of the orders? Like, do we need to vote for that, or do we need anything like special to decide on the numbers? Or
We
we-
confirmed the Eclipse and pay this vendor.
So
We would have to. We first we would have to get a quote from them, and we would have to get this confirmed, right? And if they turn around and say that no, then we're at the drawing board again.
Yeah. So a few weeks ago, I submitted a gift issue to the Eclipse Foundation working group, to the working group for MicroProfile, asking for our vendor. The vendor has, the introduction is, if you haven't seen it, I will add it again in the section about the task that is being completed. What I know is that Clark submitted the same day the issue was, please add our vendor, our swag vendor, no, our t-shirt vendor to the Eclipse Foundation vendors or partners. They are working on it at this time, and we have not gotten a feedback. It has been over 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So
okay, so I think that here, just sorry, Amelia, I'm going
Exactly,
to
we
cut
need
you
to get
because
focused.
we don't have time.
How many
so-
hoodies do we want? How many shirts do you want? And then how many designs do you want? My
so
vote would
David,
be one
for
design.
example, if we take hoodies 100, so then this will be like around 20K, and this is like within the caps of our budget. So
Okay.
this can be a starting number. like if we can go higher and like go to all the 25 that we are expecting, then we can put like as many as we can within this budget constraint here. We just need to count. And this will be also one more point to get in touch with the Eclipse Foundation to say them, okay, let's decide on the vendor. And here we already like counted how many we need of those stuff. So for them also to like agree and like give go ahead that we can go with this number and with this vendor. So this will be an extra point to ping the guys from
Right.
Eclipse.
Well, we should get a quote all drafted up so that way they can just say yes or no, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We don't want them to have to be doing negotiating and stuff like that.
I have in preparation for that, I did call them this morning. Usually I send them via email, but I called it's
all right. So what's our ask? Do I jack up these numbers? What do we do?
I think that we can increase the numbers to get the budget up to about 25K.
Okay. Do we want to set aside like 2, 3, some number for that we may need to give to the jugs to help them pay for distribution if they are not meeting?
Yeah, we need to support. The point is that
that's just like, we need a quick thoughts on that. Is that something we think we want to, I mean, is that something we think we want to do, or?
I think for now we need to make the number, because I think that the Eclipse knows already that this is the plan for the next year, and we cannot say for sure like this is going to be 20 jugs or 30 jugs. So if we order all these swags, then we will give them, we will find to whom to give those swags, and later we will have a plan for that.
Okay, so next year's budget could potentially account for shipping, helping the jugs ship if they're not meeting.
Yeah. I agree with
we are in November. We do got a new budget January 1st. So if we don't solve the problem now, we could solve it right away. 2022.
We won't solve the problem this time, Tatiana. I agree.
Okay, so we got to meet 25K. So I'm just gonna start jacking up numbers. You know, what is it?
If we're gonna ship hoodies,
if we're gonna ship hoodies and shirts, then our rule should be to get a hoodie, you got to write a blog.
Yeah, the hoodies are not going to be shipped to jugs yet. There are 51 committers. Every committer will get a new hoodie, and then there will be 50 in like what is it called? We can decide how to distribute it, but I think the hoodies are so special that, for instance, Victor from Guatemala should get a hoodie. He has done 13 blogs. We have French contributors who are writing MicroProfile videos, are creating. We will push them over ads next year to highlight
some extra. Just to say, maybe don't go too high because the shipping will be higher.
Yeah, I was just gonna try to jack up the shipping costs a bit. So.
Yeah,
something like that. Like
what you described, Amelia, would require a lot more shipping that it's not on the page here.
Yeah, it's not in the page.
Right. So if we want to ship an individual hoodie to each committer, which is a cool idea, we may have to print them this year, and the shipping may have to come out of next year's budget.
Yes, I think so as well.
We by the way, we do have storage here that if the vendor printed 150 shirts and didn't ship them, we could throw them in storage. So
the vendor is okay to keep all the storage.
Anyway, I'm going to jack up the shipping cost just a little bit, just to make sure that we're covered, right? I don't want to be too short on that.
Yep.
This is not really hitting our cost because we have 20. Oh.
But do you believe that 50 t-shirts will be enough? I was going to ask.
We don't want to saturate. We can do it again next year, right?
Correct. That's the plan.
We can do this every year. So if each jug gets 50 shirts a year and they go to the most active people that year, that's great. What we don't want to do is just ship over like 200 shirts for a jug at once, and then everyone's got a shirt. No one cares because they're not special anymore.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so what's the next step here? Let's decide in
All right.
order to close up.
We would need to get a quote for this number of shirts.
Mhm. Is it Amelia who is going to contact the vendor?
I will.
or
I can
okay.
own that task, and I can own that task, and I will create, if everyone is okay with the private email, I will like, please add yourselves in the box where Tatiana has this. Add yourself if you want to be one of the owners or managers.
Do we have to do the email right now? Can we just get a quote? Can you just go get a quote?
Yeah,
and
for
then
now
we'll
we
see.
just need the quote
If
and
you
need
trust me, I can do
approval.
this.
Yeah,
super easy.
get a quote. If this doesn't get approved, then there's no point in creating emails or doing
Yeah.
any other
Perfect.
things like that. It's just we
Okay.
got to start over with other ideas.
Perfect.
So
I will.
I've got
Can you,
Go
can
ahead,
you
John.
also, sorry.
two things. First of all, it'd be useful to have a link to the spreadsheet in the minutes.
Yeah, I'll move it. Is there a drive that we hold this stuff?
Yes.
What?
Seriously.
More than one.
You had to ask.
Seriously.
I don't even know. So did we create several drives like we created several emails?
One drive for community. I will send I will send you the link.
All right,
Right.
because right now I just popped this up in like my Google Drive account, just like right before 10 minutes before the
Yeah.
meeting, just to get some numbers.
All right. So that was my first question. Second one is this through one of the vendors approved by Eclipse Foundation?
Well, that Ed asked that question already. It is not
sorry.
yet
Okay.
approved.
Missed
So
that.
we would need to get a quote and see if we can get it approved. And
Gotcha.
and if it works out, then great. If not, then we're starting over.
Okay.
Okay.
But it is the same vendor that has printed these shirts for the last 5 years.
Gotcha.
Okay. So can you also add a link to the design, please, in the minutes?
Yeah, that's a Ryan thing. So are we deciding on one design? I think that makes sense because otherwise we need to figure out what ratio of this is one design versus the other. And I don't think we want to be doing that.
Mhm.
If we do one design, what logos do we want on the back?
The current members, I would say.
Yeah, members.
Current working group members.
So
Steering-
that's the
yeah.
12.
Tatiana,
Yeah.
Tatiana, David, can you
Yeah.
stop sharing? We have I created a bunch of gift issues just so that we can have the discussion about what t-shirts to create and how, because we need to, simplicity always works. So Tatiana, can you go back and share the designs? Because I think Ryan follow up.
Well, do we have to have that conversation right now?
Yeah, we
just in the
don't.
interest of
Exactly.
just in the interest of time.
So one or two t-shirts, do we do one design? We can vote.
Let's go with one design. Otherwise we have to decide what the breakdown is from one design to the other and which one is
Does
going to
any-
be the hoodie and all that kind of stuff.
Does anyone disagree?
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
it's okay to go on with that. Yeah, I just added here that we need to get the links for design. As far as I understand, we need two designs, one design for t-shirt, one for hoodie. For hoodie, it seems to me it's going to be only logo, but I'm not sure about that. So it's up.
Is the hoodie a zip or not a zip?
It is a zip. It's the same
So-
hoodie as always, Ryan. So it will
Okay,
have
so
only.
we
the
can't
same-
do the same design. And one of the tickets, it says the same design as the t-shirt front,
for the back.
but it's not possible on the
No.
front.
So Ryan, you're correct. It has been too long. Last time we printed t-shirt.
So there would need to be a hoodie design and a shirt design.
That's
Yes.
fine. I got it. Cool.
So Ryan, for the hoodie, we have the same design and the front doesn't change in the t-shirt.
Well,
All
let's move on. Ryan can do work
Yeah.
on the design but let's move on. So our next step is to get a quote and then we'll see where we can.
Yeah,
Or we
get a
can-
quote, get approval from Eclipse, and add the links to this document so we can move on with the rest of the.
And I need to move this into a drive if someone tells me where the.
I
drive
just
is.
I just check the chat, David. You have the link of the drive that we're working on this. Just drop the document in there.
Can we also set the deadline? So when do we have to finish this by? The same next week?
Yeah, but I will get the quotes in the next 48 hours. And I will
Yeah,
send
that's
you-
good. That we don't need the milestones, but next
Yeah.
week sounds good.
Okay. So yeah, more or less with this question, we got too much time for that, but at least we already have the next steps and some kind of decision. So some other points. Right now, the voting is going on the compatibility logger. Anyone, anything to add here or discuss here?
No, I don't think it's the right place to discuss it.
No.
But we have the
Okay.
info just as an FYI.
Yeah, so just and the same for this membership fee. So this is just
Here,
to be
I have
aware
a
of.
question from Tatiana. I added a link on 2022 budget spreadsheet. I want to show you guys the projected amount. Should the vote pass, click here. We have 27,000. Thank you so much, Tatiana. So I just copy paste this morning. The leftover, should the budget pass, will give us 27,000 available to distribute on whatever we see fits for MicroProfile activities. That means swag, conference, and ads, whatever we decide. So we need to have the budget prepared by and confirmed by the steering committee by the end of the month. It says the 19th, but I imagine we can negotiate a little bit better dates if the 19th will not be enough.
I
But
don't
this-
think so, because those have to go in front of the board and those meetings are scheduled, right?
A month in advance. So we might not have flexibility, but you can see in here, I kept the 2021 fees for reference. I copy paste and I have not done any other changes on the 2022 total budget. I have not touched anything, but only added this. This 27,000 is what we're going to have under the current fees. And this is the amount of money we need to allocate to maybe Google Ads so that we can highlight really good content, workshops, events that are happening on MicroProfile. I understand, Jan, that you were really against it last year and we took it away for this year, actually. So then we need to figure out how do we highlight great content, right?
I think
Maybe.
one thing that is not reflected, or two things are not reflected. Hopefully next year we will have on-site conferences, and maybe it is a chance to have a MicroProfile booth at some of the conferences. At some of the conferences we might get it for free, and on others not. That is not reflected and would have good attractivity. And another thing, in a completely different area, the Eclipse Foundation, RESBL, is now an European entity doing the counting in euros, not US dollars.
Jan.
We have to pay the fees in
No.
euros.
No,
And if we change it, it might be a good idea to change it to euros too.
no. So when Jan, really good point. When we worked on the budget last year, the working groups, all the budgets are in US dollars and they will not be changed to euros. Only the Eclipse Foundation membership is forced into euros. That means no one has a negotiation, but the Eclipse Foundation is allowing each group to choose its currency. MicroProfile has chosen dollars and will stay in dollars. And you are right
But
about
now we are changing the fees. Maybe we can change the currency too.
but that will increase the euros, that will increase the fees. So
Yeah, but
like,
we are lowering the fees now. And then we can easily change the currency too in one
But-
step.
what I don't understand is that why will we change to euros?
But is that a topic for the marketing?
Exactly. It's
No.
not.
I will answer it on the mailing list. Yeah.
And I have a request for this spreadsheet. Can we replace the word tax with fees or costs?
Tax. Oh, maintenance. Yeah, change it. Click on it and change it. It's public edit. It should be public edit. So everyone can change it. I just said
I'm gonna
tax
find it.
because it's something continuous. IVA en español. It's
Yeah,
not wrong.
that's, well, it's not even EVA, that,
Yeah. To me, tax is like maintenance. I'm like super into this kind of thing.
just
So
cost
just-
is fine.
Cost. Okay, change it. This
So,
public edit.
yeah, considering this 27,000, again, do we need to decide this right now, like on what we are going to?
No. No, this is just a warning. This is the amount that we will have should the budget pass. and then we
Okay.
need to work.
So yeah, because I remember that there were people like against Google AdWords and some advertisement like that. So maybe we just can consider sponsoring some kind of report in D-Zone or something like that, and this will be more or less covering this amount. But again, this is something that we can discuss later, I think. As for this budget, are there any actions required? Nothing. Okay.
No.
So I have a quick question on this budget. So I know it's
Mhm.
we are voting at the moment. Is this budget has a requirement on the no compatibility program? Is that
Correct.
So
Correct.
that means if that program, if that the separate vote failed, so this budget is kind of go downhill as well, right?
Correct.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
we would have less available budget if we have to have a compatibility
Yeah.
program.
Okay. Okay, so next point, program plan, budget plan. So this is like more or less covered. Again, voting is in progress, just for the information. Okay, this one, services available for working group. Are we going to discuss this now?
No, I want to say to
Yeah.
Ed, you really believe that it's beneficial for the Eclipse Foundation to write announcements for MicroProfile. Please check this link and information of the stats in it, and then you can follow up in the next call or via the thread and say, I see the point, something.
Ed saw that presentation.
Okay, there you go. You're aware of the presentation, you know exactly the stats and the value. On my view, I think we can move on. I just have it there because it's important to consider the services and the value that we get. Should we buy services from the Eclipse Foundation instead of value on it? And there are some things that have value and other ones that might not. And we need to be very aware when purchasing.
Okay, so we have a separate block about marketing budget. Do we still need a separate block for that?
No.
Because we have it already like inside the previous
Yeah.
parts.
It should be in the main part, like in the swag or I don't
Okay,
know.
consolidated task. There are some bunch of tasks. I highlighted them with red that need to be closed because they are either already outdated or duplicate. So considering this SurveyMonkey activity, are we going just to wait till voting is over, or what's the next?
SurveyMonkey, yeah, the next step is I need to create a document, one-page document that says what the admins of SurveyMonkey for MicroProfile will do and not do. And I will send it to the webmasters because we're working with them on the Git issues. And then Edwin and Ryan. So we will follow the Eclipse Foundation personal data identification and privacy policy. That's it. And then everything else needs to be, we need to wait. Everything here needs to be wait until we are done on Friday with the voting for compatibility. If the vote passes and we terminate the program, then all these tickets will be closed. SurveyMonkey will continue to thrive on allowing Edwin to create services as a committer and representative of the community chosen. And then in the marketing side, we will use SurveyMonkey for other things, but no longer for the choosing the compatibility logo. All of these, yeah.
Hold on, sorry to interrupt you. I think even if we don't, for example, if we say, okay, we're not going to have an Eclipse Foundation compatibility program. However, we still need to have our own compatibility program. We still need a logo. So this logo is not approved by Eclipse Foundation, but is approved by ourselves. Is that kind of what Ryan and others design are still valid, or they are completely invalid?
No, I think it will be valid, Emily, but we will know after Friday. We need to wait and see.
So
the work is not going to be a scratch. Yeah.
Right. So if it is still valid, I think no matter what, we will have a logo. So we will continue to vote for that logo.
Yeah, but we need to wait. But good.
Yeah.
So you need to wait.
Yeah, that's fine. So basically what I'm trying to say, that logo design effort is not a complete waste. So
No, it's not.
basically, it's just a vote with Eclipse Foundation or without Eclipse Foundation.
Okay. So the next tasks here are mostly connected with some documentation and website updates, and majority of those tasks were either done or in progress by Debbie. And as far as I see, she's not here today. So I think that it's okay to skip for today, and we will discuss it afterwards. So the question about MicroProfile release 5.0.
Sorry, we will need to create a ticket to have the new date. So it's basically now the ballot is on, and at the end of November we will have the whole like MicroProfile 5, all the ballot should be out. So it's we are hoping like in the second week or first week December we will have the release. I will create Git issue on the MicroProfile marketing, like a GitHub repo, and probably we can start talking about in a couple weeks time.
Okay, so proposed date is about December 1st or second week.
I think it's
I think
anyway, the end of November, this is going to be like Thanksgiving time and all this stuff. So it's not the best time for promotion and so on and so forth. So early December might be better. Like late December again, holidays are coming. So this will be not the best timing again, like for 25th of December, like last year.
You did it, John, and a few others.
I think if we vote, so I'm hoping like things will get out the Friday, the 26th of November, and then if we could all vote in the beginning in that 1 week, and then we could have get it out even on the 6th or 7th or 8th December. So let's try our best to see how vote will progress.
Emily, we have Jakarta 1. We have Jakarta 1 English on December 7th. If we are doing, can we do our best to have it completed the week before? I know it's really hard and tight.
You have my 120 support.
Yeah, like we don't want Tatiana to be the only one with Martin and John working the last week of the year pushing this. So if we, Emily, you're sending super good emails with updates. We need to ensure that it gets done before.
Yeah, exactly. So that will be very good. So we can market it on the Jakarta 1 Live. I have a talk there, and then if we can demo it, that would be super. So that's that's the aim for that.
What about the announcement text? Who can make a draft, like what is inside this MicroProfile release 5.0, so we can already start drafting and making polishing
Edwin, Martin, they are not here, but anyone that is involved, really active and pushing and working with the groups, usually does the review, and as many writers. That will be Edwin, Emerson, maybe Emily, a few of us, but like I think technically speaking, we use the template. And Emily, we need a ticket on that. The template exists for this. And I'm not sure if you want to go and say, hey, we need to do this X, we need to follow protocol, or you want us to send an email to the community to say, hey, it's coming, we want to push this. I think it's really nice to come from a technical person that is behind helping the release, but asking you.
I will create, we got this template, we got this Git release template, so we will use that and also test it out and get some feedback. So we will just follow that process, and we'll get it rolling.
Just send it to the marketing alias. The draft.
And the process is super simple. One of the coolest things is that John owes a review of the 5 years MicroProfile year. Remember that I said that it's soft and it's not okay. So John, you owe that. You owe that review. The blog, the current blog that Emily and I wrote lacks heart. It has no technical, it's just like, I feel like it lacks.
Okay.
So you agreed to do that work, to go in there and make it beautiful.
Yeah, okay, great. So we have a plan around that. So that would
Somebody
be,
started
oops,
that.
sorry. That would be great to get these drafts like already till the next call, I would say, and because we still will need to approve it, to polish it, and so on and so forth. So that would be perfect. Okay, so we are out of time. So I just want to highlight again these congratulations for the book. And as far as I see, the social media is out and the notification in social media was out. So congrats on that. And anything else important to highlight during this call from anyone?
I tweeted our photo and they also call for actions to get JUG to get in touch with us.
All right.
Nice.
We will retweet. I have a question for everyone before we go. We have the wiki on become a contributor for social media and Twitter. We use Twitter deck, and I will send another message as a reminder. This is the wiki guidelines for social media. And for instance, Ed and maybe Emily will want to have access, not admin access, but contributor access to retweet things that are relevant to MicroProfile, right? They have declined in the past and it's totally fine. But every year we will go through and say if anyone is interested in helping with not the social media because it's linked to Hootsuite. I'm talking about, and you can also help on that, but we're talking about Twitter, like to tweet when, you know, not about yourself, but about something that is so cool about MicroProfile. That would be super nice. Clearly we're doing great, but contributors are welcome. The media handles are protected by MicroProfilers. There is a process. So think about it. I will send a message to make sure that for 2020, maybe someone wants to join and have access to Twitter.
One comment that I would make in that regard is I see great emails from like Sergey on JWT looking for feedback on the specifications and other people doing the same thing. Those could be tweets.
Yeah, we should be tweeting
like,
that, right?
Those could be like, hey, can people give some feedback? This is going to potentially be the final spec. Do you have any thoughts, right? Those could be tweets.
So David, if you see those emails, sometimes not all of us see them, create a Git issue and say this needs to be tweeted. It means add the link of the message and some.
Well, I think what we need is the people who are working on the specs to have the awareness that they really could be encouraged to file those tickets themselves.
Correct. And that is a work in process.
We just need to reach out to our maybe it's a topic that we need to bring up on the agenda.
I have been alone
on one of our Tuesday calls, or if we just send an email out to the list.
We need to do both. I have been working with many of them, like literally private and public, and it takes a lot of consideration, even to put the Zoom calls, and it just took a lot of work. So I think we need to do both. We need to do the community, we need to do the forum, we need to contact them privately, because lately I have been the only one pushing this and it's too much work, and the level of, hey, do you know that you can do X? And they're like, oh my God, it's so cool, I will do X. And some of them do, some of them do not. We cannot force it, but it will be nice, every member that is doing something, to highlight it, right? So, okay, we're out of time. Tatiana, sorry about this. We're super out of time.
No problem. Yeah, I will highlight this tweets idea here in the list so we don't forget about that during the next call. And surely this is, I think that, this is something that the person who is creating the thread can also create a Git issue for their tweet. So this will be easier because this person understands whether this topic can be shared publicly, like through Twitter or not. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining the call, for being with us today. And in 2 weeks, we are going to meet again. Until that time, I hope that a bunch of tasks will be already closed.
Let's do this. This is what we do. Bye, everyone.
For keeping us on the clock, Tatiana. You did a great job getting that meeting finished in the last 15 minutes.
Ryan, thank you so much for taking the signs. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, bye.
Yeah, so cute.